Hello and welcome back to another one of my FPL videos. I of course am the FPL Trade, and in this video we're going to be looking at some transfer plans ahead of Game Week 22. So obviously we're only halfway through Game Week 21, so a lot can change by the deadline, which is of course 2 weeks away. So for now I'm going to stick with these 3 transfers that I think could be decent going forward. But obviously, like I've just said, we're only halfway through Game Week 21, so that could easily change from now until the deadline. And obviously, Game Week 22 is going to be a midweek game week, so 23 will be on the weekend. So it's going to be a quick turnaround with 22 and 23. That is something also to be mindful of. Now, obviously, the 3 transfers that I did mention in Game Week 21 transfer plans, obviously, all the guys we recommended bringing in so far haven't yet played, the Brighton and West Ham. Mo Salah's obviously going to be an AFCON, so he won't play. Solanke yet to play, and Kieran Trippier being the only player to have played has obviously only got that 1 pointer so far, which obviously, at least I was correct in saying maybe it might be the right time to take him out so far. But it was a tough fixture that he had, to be fair to him. Man City is never going to be an easy game. But anyways, let's look ahead to these transfers that I've got planned so far for game weeks 22. So then with the first transfer I've got on here, it's taking out Dizazi for Delo. Now, this isn't just focused on Dizazi himself. I own him, so that's why he's on here. But if you have a Chelsea defender, I'd probably get rid of him now. They had this great fixture run. I mean, they're coming to an end to it now. I've got a couple of them left. But defensive-wise, they've just not been keeping clean sheets, really. They've kept 2 in this big, quick fixture run they had. One against Fulham and the other one against Sheffield United. Both of them were at home. I mean, they've just been a bit naff, really, at the back. It's not worth keeping them, if I'm being honest. Obviously, if they go through in the EFL Cup final, they're 1-0 down at the minute to Middlesbrough. That will be, obviously, a big change to their game week. They'll be blanking in a game week. And then, obviously, if they beat Aston Villa in the FA Cup, that would mean between game weeks 25 and 29, they'll only actually be played 3 game weeks. So that's another thing to take into factor. Do you really want him? Is he worth being on your bench? I mean, for me, he's 4.9 million. I could easily replace him, like say with a Delo, who's 5.1 million, and he'll be playing more games. Not saying that I'll do that straight swap, but for now, that's what just for an example. Now, they're obviously, like I said, bringing in Delo. I think that would be a good option. To be fair to him, he is a decent right wing back, left wing back. He's currently playing more on the left side because obviously Luke Shaw's currently out right now. Obviously, Man United have been poor this season. They have been absolutely shocking, let's be honest. And I mean, the last time what they kept a clean sheet was against Liverpool. So it's not been great. I mean, it's a great team to keep a clean sheet to, but They've not kept many clean sheets recently, and you know that is something to be a factor of. Should we really go for them? But they have had a tough run of fixtures. Let's be honest. Now they're on a decent run. So they've got Wolves, West Ham. I mean, they're not exactly the easiest fixtures. Villa's difficult. Then you're looking at Luton, Fulham, which is nice. Difficult one against Man City, and then it's Everton, and of course Sheffield United. So it shows that they have 8 nice fixtures out of a possible 10. So definitely worth bringing him in just for a little gamble. He can get you a goal and an assist. I mean, if you watch him play for Man United, you'll notice if he's got a chance to shoot, he's going to shoot. Even if the striker's in a better position, he's going to take his shots anyway. So he'll get a good chance of getting you a goal, I guess. I mean, the stats aren't exactly great for goals and assists. He's only got 1 goal and 1 assist so far this season. But the fixtures are kind to United going forward, so maybe it is worth going for a punt and going for Dalot, especially if you own a Chelsea defender, because so far that's not been going well. So you may as well take a punt and go for a United defender. So obviously I couldn't do this video without mentioning Kevin De Bruyne. We all saw him play against Newcastle. I mean, the guy literally only played 21 minutes. He got you a goal and he got you an assist with 3 bonus points. Came away with a whopping 12 points in that game week. Now, will he start against Burnley in game week 22? I'm not so sure, if I'm being honest. I do reckon Man City will ease him in, because obviously he kept having those injuries, particularly on his groin. So I think it was his groin or his hamstring. I mean, don't quote me on that. But he kept having injuries. I'm sure they want to obviously ease him in. There's obviously a quick turnaround, like I mentioned as well, with game weeks 22 and 23. So if he starts one, I don't think he'll start the other, just because of how quickly it is. And then obviously game week 25, Man City do have a double game week against Chelsea and Brentford. Not exactly the worst fixtures in the world. So again though, because of his injuries, he might get rested in one of those as well. But still, he's a quality midfielder. Obviously Son, who's the replacement here, is out in the Asia Cup. South Korea are currently one of the favourites to win it. Obviously they've won their first game in the group stage, so that he could be out for quite some time. And obviously, the price difference isn't too different between them. De Bruyne's already gone up 0.2 million though since he's come back into that Man City team. So something to be wary of. Obviously, if it keeps going up, it could jump to like £1 million difference between Son and De Bruyne. But yeah, De Bruyne is back. Whether he'll start these games, I'm not 100% certain. They're not the easiest games, but I think we're all thinking now, from now to the end of the season, Man City will probably lose one game until now to the end of the season. They might draw the odd game, but this is usually this time of the season where they're absolutely dominant. And if Haaland's back as well, it could be frightening. And I do think De Bruyne would absolutely smash it this second half of the season. So yes, he's going to cost a bit of money at the minute, but the likes of Son and Salah currently out, we've all got plenty of money in the bank. Maybe it is worth taking a punt on Kevin De Bruyne. And finally then, the last transfers I've got on here is taking out Alvarez for Tony. Now, Alvarez is such a headache now, with obviously Kevin De Bruyne being back. We just don't know what's going to happen with Alvarez going forward. So obviously, game week 22 is against Burnley. We don't know if he'll start. We don't know if Haaland will be fit yet to play against Burnley. So what could happen is De Bruyne starts with Alvarez up front, and then in game week 23 he starts Haaland and then put Alvarez behind him and rest De Bruyne, because obviously he's been out for quite some time. And then they could probably do the same with game week 25 as well in the double game week. We just don't know. Obviously if Haaland's going to be out for 22, that would probably make me want to hold Alvarez for at least one more game week. But obviously if Haaland is back, it's going to cause a real headache. Like I just said, we don't know how they're going to manage the minutes of both Haaland and De Bruyne. So it is frustrating, and it's not really worth keeping Alvarez, if I'm being honest. Especially if Haaland's back for 22, it'd definitely be worth selling him. The replacement obviously is Ivan Toney. Now, like I said, game week 21 is still going on. So obviously they got knocked out in the FA Cup last night. Ivan Toney wasn't even in the squad. We're all expected him to turn up on Saturday and start against Forest, 'cause they need the 3 points. And if he does start, I mean, I don't think he'll play 90, so I think they'll probably take him off about 70 minutes, you know. And then after that, I think he'll start and finish every game. It is going to be a tough fixture run for Brentford, but, you know, Is that going to bother Tony? I don't think so. I think I recall him last season scoring 2 goals, obviously against Man City at the Etihad, so he's not going to be bothered about who he plays. Doesn't matter if Brentford lose. If Tony scores, then that's fine. I reckon, I mean, he's got the double game week, which might be tough in 25, but I still think he'll score. Obviously, Brentford are out of the FA Cup, as are Burnley. So that means game week 29, they are one of the few teams that's going to be playing game week 29. So that does mean between game weeks 25 to game weeks 29, they have the most amount of games to play. That'd be 5 games in those game weeks. So that is something as well to really think about. Obviously, Tony, 100% starter, 100% 90 minutes man, and a 100% going to be the penalty taker. So it's definitely something to go for, or something to look at. Somebody I'm really wanting in my team as well. 2.4% as well. Barely owned right now. And I'm telling you now, if he scores against Forest Saturday, that's it. His value is going to plummet, well, skyrocket, should I say, up. And I wouldn't be surprised by the time we do a video for game week 23, he's at least 15% owned. So he is going to be the guy we're all looking at going forward. Obviously, this Forest game is going to be all eyes on Ivan Toney. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. So that is going to be it for this video. Obviously, like I said before, we've still got a long time before game week 22 actually begins. So plenty of time to change our minds, change what transfers we want. But these are so far the guys that I'm personally thinking about bringing in, if I have a choice of bringing them in, or if I could bring them in anyway. So let me know what you think of these guys coming in. Let me know what you think of this video. Please don't forget to obviously like this video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.